Right now.
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 Right now. Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Writers, welcome to a late night writing sesh. Made it just in time, as I am going to continue work on The Last Scarecrow. I'm going to show you, as we've been doing the past, I would say we've been at this, 2 months now, showing you what a third draft looks like. With my process is I do a live reading and a live line edit to improve for style so I can get the next part of the book ready for beta readers. So come join me and let's get into it, whether you want to hang out, offer suggestions, or just kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Kaufman, daily writing streamer, fantasy author, soon to be, and dragon enthusiast. And let's see what we can see for this late night writing sesh. All right. So as we can see, let's get into a writing sprint. I have my stuff all queued up and I am stoked to be able to hop into the next chapter of The Last Scarecrow. So I want to say I started with the first third of this chapter. Previously, I was working on it yesterday during writer's group, and I think I had finished up the first beat, but I was a little iffy. I think I'm being a little too picky on some of the word choice. So I'm just going to push myself and we're just going to see what we see. But I have to get through the chapter this time. So I'll throw up this banner and let's do it. All right. Make sure you guys can actually hear me. Let's see. 1 second. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2. Testing. Okay. Want to make sure y'all can hear me all right. Okay. So let's get into it. And by the way, if you're hopping to this stream, just holler if you can't hear me well enough. I'm trying the mic out at a different angle, so trying to get it a little easier for writing. Okay. Chapter 24, The Tiger King. Only to wake up and find the true horror of it all, Scarecrow exclaimed, arms spread wide. What was it? Squeaked a tiny black-nosed badger on his shoulder as its dull claws dug in. Scarecrow peered around at the few nearby animals gathered around him. The porcupine's spikes retracted, while the vibrant green mantis watched, without blinking, from a sloth's graying thick coat. Even in a nearby cell, a strange bouncing animal with a pouch-inlaid stomach and a three-pronged antlered ox had both gone still. Shadows played from the single inlaid sconce against the nearby wall, casting an eerie light. Scarecrow rose to his feet. A sunflower secreting muck from its petals. The badger gasped, while audible sighs of relief echoed from the others. The cobra king spat with an annoyed hiss. Sunflowers can kiss my tail if they think swamps are theirs. Well, Gore shrugged. That explains how we survived the dream state without meeting death. Without meeting death? Scarecrow echoed. Gore nodded, but the badger squeaked up. Those who dream never wake. But if they never wake up, how would you... we'll keep wake up. But if they never wake up, how would you know? Scarecrow trailed off as he saw fear wash across his listener's eyes. Instead, he patted the badger, its wide eyes and oversized paws betraying its youth. The tiny animal nuzzled reassuringly against his shoulder. Nuzzled reassuringly against his shoulder. Scarecrow groaned. His stories hadn't quite attracted the crowd they were hoping for. At least he had received a prominent nay from a nearby cell. The room was spacious, with many cages and cells of all shapes and sizes, yet none were locked or appeared to have been used in ages. Many of the doors were missing or lay on the stone floor. Most of the prisoners Most of the prisoners had split into smaller groups in their cells. Guess the keys thought the collars were enough to hold them. Instead of fumbling with his collar again, Scarecrow looked to Gore, who shrugged and raised 5 fingers. So much for enticing strong allies. Liar! Accused a figure from behind him. Behind. Scarecrow felt a hot breath against his neck. He turned to face large turquoise eyes that shifted to sunlight yellow, then deepened to rose red. From the cell beside them, from the cell beside, from another cell, from another cell, Cotton Ball's forehead pressed against the bars as from another cell, Cotton Ball's forehead pressed against the bars as his arm slipped between them. From another cell, Conball's forehead pressed against the bars as his arm slipped between them, wrapping around Scarecrow's neck and pulling him close. Why did you follow me, demon? The rabbit whispered into one of his ears. From within Scarecrow's peripheral vision, the crimson-colored eyes glared at him. The crimson eyes. From within Scarecrow's peripheral vision, crimson eyes glared at him. The rabbit's grip wasn't choking him, but he struggled to get away regardless. Let's go. He struggled to get away, gripping. He struggled to get away, gripping. He struggled to get away, gripping the whitened, pink-shaved forearm. He struggled to get away, gripping the rabbit's whitened, pink-shaved forearm. I didn't. I only ended up in the woods because of Pebble, a pixie. Demon owns pixies. The grip tightened. Cotton Ball's grip tightened as Scarecrow grasped, trying to break free. The rabbit's voice, now velvety smooth, whispered in his other ear, "Pay him no mind. He has trust issues." Scarecrow glanced over his shoulder at the rabbit's sky blue eyes. Actually, let's go velvet. Let's go purple. At the rabbits. Let's see, what's a good descriptor for purple? Should we go just violet? Scarecrow glanced over his shoulder at the rabbit's violet eyes. Scarecrow glanced over his other shoulder at the rabbit's violet eyes. Scarecrow glanced over his other shoulder at violet eyes. Raising his voice, the rabbit hollered, "Look around. We're animals, but what is this creature? A sack of straw? Not my master. No." Actually, that should be one. The rabbit's voice, now velvety smooth, whispered in his other ear, "Pay him no mind. He has trust issues." Scarecrow glanced over his other shoulder at Violet Eyes. Raising his voice, the rabbit hollered. Let's go. Voice raised. Voice raised. The rabbit hollered. The voice raised. The rabbit hollered. "Look around. We're animals. But what is this creature? A sack of straw? Not my master. No." Conball paused, yelping in pain. "Ah!" I don't think we need that. Cottonball paused, yelping in pain. The tiny badger had burrowed its teeth into Cottonball's arm, allowing Scarecrow to slip free. The rabbit grabbed the badger in one hand and chucked it aside. In the disruption, Gore had charged out of the cell and rounded the corner to catch the badger just in time. Ignoring the bear, Cottonball glared at Scarecrow. His eyes morphed to a sickly green as the rabbit gripped the bars, eyes shifting from sun yellow to rose red. The dull gray bars turned into a shade of rose red as the bars melted away beneath the rabbit's grip. Beneath his grip. The dull gray bars turned into a shade of rose red as the bars melted away beneath his grip, allowing him the space the melted bars created. Gore gripped the rabbit by the shoulder, but without looking away, Cottonball jabbed the bear in the stomach, sending him stumbling back. The rabbit's eyes turned orange as he put a foot through the melted bars. The rabbit's eyes turned orange as he kicked the melted bars away. The rabbit's eyes turned orange as he kicked the melted bars out of his way and began to step through. "I hate liars." "We both do," Scarecrow cried. "I'm on a mission to stop the first demon." The rabbit paused, his eyes turning bright pink as he looked away. "My mission," eyes growing rosier, "for eternity." Scarecrow clenched his fist, seeing hope in Cottonball's eyes for the first time. The rabbit scared him beyond all measure, but he knew without help, they had no chance of surviving this place. He glanced over his shoulder at the small animals watching him. The rabbit scared him beyond all measure, but maybe he could convince, if he could convince one animal, one strong animal, but if he could convince an animal of his strength to join them, but if he could convince an animal of such strength to join them, maybe they could stop the fighting. Maybe they could stop the fight before it began. Scarecrow clenched his fist, seeing hope in Conball's eyes for the first time. The rabbit scared him beyond all measure, but if he could convince an animal of such strength to join them, maybe they could stop the fight before it began. He glanced over his shoulder at the small animals, watching. Watching with that terrified wonder. He gripped his chest, knowing deep down that he couldn't. Uh, he gripped his chest. Maybe he could save them. Maybe he could save them. He had to help, like a compulsion. Maybe he could save them. He had to help. Maybe he could save them. He had to help. His need to help felt like a compulsion. His need to help felt like a compulsion that pressed that his need to help felt like a compulsion that pressed him onwards. Palm up, he reached a hand towards Cotton Ball, smiling. Let's fight together and save these animals. Adding, for eternity. For eternity? Palm up, he reached a hand towards Conball, smiling. Let's fight together and save these animals, adding thoughtfully. For eternity? Conball's eyes twinkled a deep shade of pink. He looked up to Scarecrow, hopeful. Recollection flitted across his eyes suddenly, with a whisper. I remember the scarecrows. Eyes wide, Scarecrow exclaimed, You what? Eyes wide, Scarecrow faltered. You what? You what? Eyes wide, Scarecrow faltered. You what? A hoot echoed as a key dropped from the shadows above and landed beside the rabbit, pulling him back into the nearby cell. A hoot echoed as a key dropped from the shadows above and landed beside the rabbit, pulling him back into the nearby cell. Smirking, Cotton Ball looked to Scarecrow as his eyes shifted to a steel gray, confident and firm. Confident and firm, his stance became absolute. He smiled blandly, revealing a silver gemstone clenched between his teeth before blowing Scarecrow a kiss. Without looking away, Conball grabbed the key by the throat as the monkey froze. The key's brown pupils lost their color, and its darkened fur shifted. The key's brown pupils lost their color, and its darkened fur shifted to a dull gray, as if the animal's very color Let's see what are other names for color. Let's see it. I think there's a better way to say this. And without looking away, Conball grabbed the key by the throat as the monkey froze. The key's brown pupils lost their color, and its darkened fur shifted to a dull gray as the animal's very color was being drained. Hmm. Without looking away, Conball closed a hand around the key's throat. The monkey froze. Hmm. Without looking away, Cotton Ball closed a hand around the key's throat. Hmm. Without looking away, Cotton Ball closed a hand around the key's throat. The key's brown cup pupils bled of color. Its fur. Without looking away, Cotton Ball closed her hand around the key's throat. The key's brown pupils bled of color, its fur paling to a dull gray, as though its very color were being siphoned away. The key's brown pupils bled of color, and its fur paled to a dull gray. The key's brown pupils bled of color, and its fur paled to a dull gray, as though its very color were being siphoned away. The key's brown pupils bled of color, and its fur paled to a dull gray, as though its very color were being siphoned away. A clap, let's see, I was like, a clap echoed throughout the room. Scarecrow fell to the ground as all right. A clap echoed throughout the room. Invisible cords of agony rippled down Scarecrow's shoulders. All right, let's fix this. Invisible cords of agony ripped down Scarecrow's shoulders, through his chest and across every limb. He fell to the ground. He collapsed to the ground. Burning, tightening, stretching. He cried out. He collapsed to the ground, burning, tightening, stretching. He cried out. Time lost meaning. Only catching his breath when the pain had ceased, he twitched, expecting its return at any moment. Only catching his breath when the pain had ceased. Only catching his breath when the pain had ceased, he twitched, expecting its return at any moment. A glance around the room indicated a quick glance around the room indicated all prisoners had shared similar fates. Even the silhouettes of animals 5 times the size lay huddled against even the silhouettes of a few animals 5 times the size lay huddled in faraway cells. Even the silhouettes of a few animals 5 times the size lay huddled in faraway cells. Standing above the rabbit, standing above Cotton Ball, a key, bare-chested, lavender white skin. Standing above Cotton Ball, a key, bare-chested, lavender white skin, with long black fur that rippled across massive legs and forearms. Standing above Cotton Ball, a key, bare-chested, lavender white skin, with I don't know if I like that or not. Standing above Cotton Ball, a key, bare-chested, lavender white skin with long black fur that rippled across massive legs and forearms. Sash was draped loosely across his chest and waist, holding odd, shiny instruments. This key stood out from the others in both appearance and visage. Standing above Cotton Ball was a burly. Standing above Cotton Ball was a massive key, bare-chested and lavender white-skinned. Bare-chested, lavender white skin. His long black fur rippled across massive legs and forearms. Standing above Cotton Ball was a massive key with bare-chested lavender white skin. His long black fur rippled across massive legs and forearms. A sash lay loose across his chest. A sash lay loose across his chest and waist. Mm. A sash lay loose across his chest and waist, heavy with odd, heavy with odd, heavy with odd shining. Do I want that to be shining? A sash lay loose across his chest and waist, heavy with odd shining, with the odd, heavy with the odd boomerang like weapons. Standing above Conball was a massive key with bare-chested lavender white skin. His long black fur rippled across massive legs and forearms. Across burly. His long black fur rippled across burly legs and forearms. His long black fur rippled across burly legs and forearms. A sash lay loose across his chest and waist, heavy with odd boomerang-like weapons. Let's try this. Bare-chested. Mm-hmm. Standing above cotton ball was a massive key, bare-chested. His lavender white skin. All right, massive key, bare-chested, bare-chested. Lavender. Let's actually fit. Hmm. Standing above cotton ball was a massive key, bare-chested, lavender white skin. Standing above cotton ball was a massive key, bare-chested, lavender white skin. Standing above cotton ball was a massive key with bare-chested lavender white skin. His long black fur rippled across burly legs and forearms. A sash lay loose across his chest and waist, heavy with the odd boomerang-like weapons. Like that. He gave off a presence that demanded attention. He gave off a presence that demanded attention. Standing above cotton ball was a massive key, with bare-chested lavender white skin. His long black fur rippled across burly legs and forearms. A sash lay loose across his chest and waist, heavy with the odd boomerang-like weapons. He gave off a presence that demanded attention. He kicked the twitching key on the ground and nodded his head. And nodded. He kicked the twitching key on the ground. He inspected the twitching key on the ground and nodded. And he inspected the twitching key on the ground and made a clicking sound. Two keys swung from sights unseen, landed on the ground with a thud, and carried the graying victim away. He inspected the twitching key on the ground. He inspected the twitching key on the ground, who was mumbling incoherently. He inspected the twitching key on the ground, who was mumbling incoherently. He inspected the twitching key on the ground, who was mumbling incoherently before he made. He inspected the twitching key on the ground, who was mumbling incoherently before making a clicking sound. Just like... He inspected the twitching key on the ground, who was mumbling incoherently before making a clicking sound. Two keys swung from sights unseen, landed on the ground with a thud, and carried the graying victim away. And dragged. The massive black key leaned down and sniffed the rabbit, who spasmed from the pain. The massive black key leaned down and sniffed the rabbit, who spasmed from the pain, but glared up defiantly. So distasteful, the black key stated sardonically. So distasteful, the black key stated sardonically, as he pushed a pair of tiny lenses. So distasteful. The black key stated sardonically, as he pushed a pair of tiny lenses up the bridge of his nose with the back of his knuckles. The lenses, albeit small, made his dark eyes large and somehow more suitable for his bulk. The lenses, albeit small, made his dark eyes large and the lenses, albeit small, made his dark eyes large and intelligent. The lenses, albeit small, made his dark eyes appear large and intelligent. Conball, eyes. Conball, eyes still gray, reached out to grab the massive primate, who simply swatted the paw away with an annoyed no, and jabbed him. Conball, eyes still gray, reached out to grab the massive primate, who reached out to grab the massive key, who simply swatted the paw away with an annoyed. Conball, eyes still gray, reached out to grab the massive key, who simply swatted him away with an annoyed no. Who simply swatted him away with an annoyed no. The rabbit's collar turned red. Conball, eyes still gray, reached out. Conball, eyes still gray, clenched his lips as his collar turned crimson. As clenched, eyes still gray, clenched his fist as his collar turned crimson, turned bright red, turned blood red. He reached out to grab the massive key, who simply swatted him away with an annoyed no. The massive key grabbed grabbed him by the nose and smacked the back of his head. The massive key grabbed him by the nose and smacked the back of his head. And smacked the back of his head. The massive key grabbed him by the nose and smacked the back of his head. Until the silver gem popped out and he caught it. The massive key grabbed him by the nose and smacked the back of his head. The silver gem popped out of his mouth, out of the rabbit's. The silver gem popped out of the rabbit's mouth. The massive key grabbed him by the nose and smacked the back of his head until the silver gem popped. Until the silver gem popped out of the rabbit's mouth. The key caught it. Caught it with one swipe. The key caught it with one swipe of his meaty hand and pocketed it within his sash. He'll like you. He'll like you. The massive key made another clicking sound. Oh, God, I'm just not a fan of this word choice here. After making another clicking sound, two more keys swung out from the pitch black ceiling and grabbed the rabbit by either arm, dragging him toward the cell's entrance. The rabbit's collar remained red, but the rabbit's collar remained red, but only laughing, but only laughter escaped. The prisoners escaped his lips, escaped his mouth. This is an interesting one. All right, so this is an interesting little beat right here. I wonder if this works. I don't know if I'm as much a fan of this the way it's worded here. Standing above Cotton Ball was a massive key with bare-chested lavender white skin. His long black fur rippled across burly legs and forearms. A sash lay loose across his chest and waist, heavy with the odd boomerang-like weapons. He gave off a presence that demanded attention. He inspected the twitching key on the ground, who was mumbling incoherently before making a clicking sound. Two keys swung from sights unseen, landed on the ground with a thud, and carried the graying victim away. The massive black key leaned down and sniffed the rabbit, who spasmed from the pain, but glared up defiantly. So distasteful, the black key stated sardonically, as he pushed a pair of tiny lenses up the bridge of his nose with the back of his knuckles. The lenses, albeit small, made his dark eyes appear large and intelligent. Cotton Ball, eyes still gray, clenched his fist as his collar turned blood red. He reached out to grab the massive key, who simply swatted him away with an annoyed no. The massive key grabbed him by the nose and smacked the back of his head. And grabbed a Cotton Ball by the nose. The massive key grabbed Cotton Ball by the nose and smacked the back of his head until the silver gem popped out of the rabbit's mouth. The key caught it with one of his meaty hands. Caught with the swipe of a meaty hand, the key pocketed it within his sash. He'll like you. The massive key grabbed Cotton Ball by the nose and smacked the back of his head until the silver gem popped out of the rabbit's mouth. Caught with the swipe of a meaty hand, the key pocketed it within his sash. He'll like you. After making another clicking sound, two more keys swung out from the pitch black ceiling. After making another clicking sound, two more keys swung out. After making another clicking sound, two more keys swung out from the pitch black ceiling and grabbed the rabbit by either arm, dragging him toward the cell's entrance. The rabbit's collar remained red, but only laughter escaped his mouth. But only subdued laughter escaped him. But only subdued laughter escaped him as he. The rabbit's collar remained red, but only subdued laughter escaped him. As the strange black key. The strange black key. The dominating black key stepped through the newly created space between the bars. His lens-covered eyes fell on Scarecrow. And what are you? I'm Scarecrow stuttered with a gulp. And looking at Gore on the ground nearby, who was shaking his head. A scarecrow, I think. I am Marchek. The massive key. Now, do we want to refer to him by the nickname? What if I go with the nickname? I am the Whip. So I'm trying to decide here if because I started using his nickname, the Whip, but I'm not sure if. I think I should probably just stick with his name for now. Let's go with the Whip. We'll do that. I am the Whip. The massive key leaned over and tapped Scarecrow forcefully on the forehead, causing him to back away. The massive key leaned down and tapped Scarecrow forcefully on the forehead, causing him to crawl back. Causing him to crawl back. The massive key leaned down and tapped Scarecrow forcefully on the forehead. His forearms bulged as he looked down, watching, inspecting. His forearms bulged as he inspected him with pure fascination, as if trying to solve a puzzle. Finally, his forearms bulged as he inspected him with pure fascination, as if trying to solve a puzzle. Finally, as if deciding, finally, as if, finally, making a decision, finally, as if contemplating a decision, he stated solemnly. Finally, as if contemplating a decision, he stated solemnly. The eyes. Your eyes speak one truth, yet your eyes speak one truth, yet your form kicking at Scarecrow. Scarecrow's arms is stuck. Your eyes speak one truth, yet your form kicking at Scarecrow's worn arms. Scarecrow's worn arms as stuffing leak through. Finally, as if contemplating a decision, he rose. Your eyes speak one truth, yet your form kicking at Scarecrow's. Let's see. I am the whip. The massive key leaned down and tapped Scarecrow forcefully on the forehead. His forearms bulged as he inspected him with pure fascination, as if trying to solve a puzzle. His forearms bulged as he inspected Scarecrow with pure fascination, as if trying to solve a puzzle. Finally, as if contemplating decision, the whip rose. The whip rose. Your eyes speak one truth, that your form, kicking at Scarecrow's worn arms, a stuffing leak through. Speaks another. He spun around, muttering, "If you survive." He spun around. "If you survive." Uh, Interesting. So we're fixing this one, but what's up, Whites here? Hello, hello, my friend. Hope all is treating you well. Getting some good revision progress here. All right. The dominating black key stepped through the newly created space between the bars. His lens-covered eyes fell on Scarecrow. And what are you? I'm. Scarecrow stuttered with a gulp and looked at Gore on the ground nearby, who was shaking his head. A scarecrow, I think. I am the whip. The massive key leaned down and tapped Scarecrow forcefully on the forehead. His forearms bulged as he inspected Scarecrow with pure fascination, as if trying to solve a puzzle. Finally, as if contemplating a decision, the whip rose. Your eyes speak one truth, yet your form, kicking at Scarecrow's worn arms as stuffing leaked through, speaks another. A true oddity. He trailed off, letting his words hang in the air before making another clicking sound and exiting the cell. Shouting over his shoulder, "To the king!" He slammed his chest with a fist. Other shouts of "To the king" and chest bumps echoed in the distance. Scarecrow felt a kick in the gut. Kick to the gut as the edge of his coat whipped him in the face. The key with the triangle patch of fur. The key with the triangle patch of fur hooted gleefully in his face. The key with the triangle patch of fur hooted gleefully in his face and kicked him. The key with the triangle patch of fur glued in his face. And the key with the triangle patch of fur hooted gleefully in his face and kicked him again. And kicked him again until he rose. Until he rose to his feet. He staggered. Scarecrow staggered. Scarecrow staggered to the front of the cell. The key hooted. The key barked at Scarecrow with hoots until he staggered to the front of the cell. Until he staggered out of the cell. Out of the cell where the rabbit lay mumbling. Where Cotton Ball lay mumbling. Nice, Whitzer. That's absolutely incredible news, my friend. You're like, I finalized my cover art yesterday. That sounds awesome. I'm so happy for you, man. As we know, getting the cover is so it's just like such an amazing like dream come true in a sense. That's awesome. That is so cool. I'm really happy for you, my friend. Wow. Yeah, I'm really happy. Reveal happening at some point. Ooh, that is so exciting, Whites here. Definitely let us know once you're let us know when you decide to do your cover reveal. We'll definitely have to show it on the stream. Um God, I know usually I'd say come to writers group, but I know writers group or Wednesday writers group is probably usually pretty late for you. Let me think about it. We definitely would love to show that on the stream. Can I submit art to the critique show? I've had people ask me that before. If it's like a reading, like if we're doing an excerpt from it, we can, but literally just as a piece of art, it doesn't quite work as well with the format. What I could say is maybe we could showcase it on one of our like Monday community streams. So like one of the things that we're going to start doing is we're doing community spotlights, and I think that'd be really cool to spotlight it for you. So if you want to like let me know once you're planning like a cover reveal, we could totally spotlight it for you on one of our Monday community update streams. Something that we're going to start, we would like to start doing is doing a spotlighting upcoming work that writers in the community are working on. So yeah, so just keep me updated on your when you plan to reveal the cover, and we could totally showcase it on a Monday stream. I think that'd be super cool. Yeah, I think it'd be super cool actually. Let's see, where are we? Scarecrow felt a kick to the gut as the edge of his coat whipped him in the face. The key with the triangle patch of fur hooted gleefully in his face and hooted gleefully down at him. Hooted gleefully. The key with the triangle patch of fur hooted gleefully and kicked him again until he rose to his feet. The key barked. A thump hit the ground behind Scarecrow. He felt a kick to the gut as the edge of his coat whipped him in the face. The key with the triangle patch of fur hooted gleefully and kicked him again until he rose to his feet. The key barked at Scarecrow with hoots until he staggered out of the cell where Cotton Ball lay mumbling. Scarecrow shrugged as he passed Gore. Scarecrow shrugged as he passed Gore on the ground. Scarecrow shrugged as he passed Gore on the ground in the nearby cell. Gore trembled, still recoiling from the pain, as he rose to his feet and roared, "I challenge the king!" A chorus of hoots from the rafters above echoed in the darkness as three keys dropped down to surround the grizzly. However, the whip lifted a finger into the air, turning briefly. What? A chorus of hoots from the rafters above echoed in the darkness as three keys dropped down to surround the grizzly. However, the whip stopped. The whip lifted a finger into the air, turning briefly. What brings a grizzly so far from the swamps? Gore gritted his teeth, wary as he checked each of the primates circling him. What brings a key above ground? The whip snorted. I don't play games, Grizzly. Actually, let's see. All right. Interesting. Interesting. The whip snorted. He eyed the grizzly up and down and clicked to the ceiling. Gore gripped his neck and roared in pain as the collar reddened with fury. Gore gripped his neck and roared in pain as the collar darkened with fury, returning him to the ground. Scarecrow winced and made a move to help his friend, but a nearly imperceptible rage-induced look. But a rage-induced look from the grizzly stopped him. Gore screamed. I declared a challenge. Or is this king? I declared a challenge. Or is this king a coward hiding behind artifacts and monkeys? Scarecrow gulped as the whip's eyes flitted between Gore and him, finally landing on him. We're doing a flashback. It's like a quick flashback memory. Oh man, so much going on with this chapter. Hey, what's up, Angel? Welcome, my friend. Hope the writing vibe is treating you well. Yeah, well, not yet, as I did last minute grocery shopping at the local market with baby girl and just returned. Yeah, well, it totally makes sense. You have to do errands. How's the editing? Good. Revision is going good. This I'm almost halfway through the book with the revisions. Um, I don't know. Chapter's taking me longer than I want it to. Oh man, but I mean it's coming along fine. It's interesting. This chapter, like we're really leading up to introducing the midpoint antagonist. I did a flashback, a quick flashback sequence memory for Scarecrow. I'm not sure if I want it now or not. Mm. Oh man, I was like, I need to get through this chapter. It's taking me longer than I want it to. I've been writing chapter 3 for almost a month. Something always keeps distracting me. C'est la vie, my friend. C'est la vie. But you know what? We got to push on one way or another. I'm sure you'll get through. I'm sure you'll get through the chapter soon, though. It sounds like you've probably been busy. You're probably almost at the end of it. I'm sure you're about to get to the next epic part of the chapter. The question is, do I want there to be a moment with Scarecrow and think of the boy in that moment? I don't know if it's necessary. I mean, what does doing this flashback in this moment accomplish? I think what I don't remember is, I mean, do we need the whip? Yeah, I was like, I don't think it needs this moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it needs this moment. Just trying to think if there's. That sounds fun, Angel. You're like, ideas. I'm about to write how 5 women get struck by lightning and 2 dragon shifters. Owners of the bar try to shield them. Dang, that actually sounds like a cool scene. Sounds like a really cool scene. I'm sure you're probably going to wrap it up soon then. Sounds like you already know what you want to happen. Sounds like an interesting scene. And Angel, if you ever need feedback or anything, you can always submit for Story and Critique Show. If you're ever needing feedback or motivation or anything, always welcome to submit, my friend. All right. Okay, that's right. All right. I think I'm gonna keep this. I think I know why I want to do this. Ponder Knight Scarecrow. Scarecrow gulped as the whip's eyes flitted between Gore and him, finally landing on him. He opened his mouth to respond, but a memory tugged at his mind. He opened his mouth to speak, but a memory tugged at his subconscious. Shutting eyes. Closing his eyes, he recalled. He opened his mouth to respond, but a memory tugged at his subconscious. Closing his eyes, he thought. Closing his eyes, words. Closing his eyes, a conversation floated. on the edge of nothing. Closing his eyes, a conversation floated on the edge of nothingness. Closing his eyes, a conversation floated on the edge of nothingness. Now, do we make this? All right, let's go. Nice, Angel. That's cool. You said all 5 of them have their own books. That's super cool. Yo, Raid. Raid is what's cracking? I'm just working on a story. Working on my book right now. I'm like, man, trying to decide how I should do this. I appreciate all y'all for dropping in. The part you dropped in on is very mediocre. Trying to figure out if I should do this like a flash memory back. I don't even know what to call it. All right. I don't even know if I like that. You know what? I remember like I stuck this I remember I stuck this bit in my last draft, and I'm just not sure if I like it or not. But I think it might pull too much at what I'm trying to accomplish in this moment. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I can't decide if I want to keep this. I have to think about if the flashback is necessary. So we're gonna pull out the handy dandy. Where's my deleted? No. Okay, let's go. Open. Got to pull out the deleted scenes stuff. Deleted scenes. All right. So, and I mean, this is something that I'll do when there's excerpts or pieces that like I know I don't want to. I'll let go of what chapter are we on? I think we're on chapter 24 right now. Because I need to continue on with this revision. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this Scarecrow. We'll just put this as potential Scarecrow memory flashback with boy in red beanie. Because I just like I need to think about this bit. I don't know if it's necessary here. So I mean, I know I'm partially talking to myself. So I'm in the middle. We're in the middle of this prison scene where Scarecrow and his friends are all, or Scarecrow's captured, and I was trying to add a little bit of a flashback here, and I'm just not sure if it's necessary. So we're gonna take this flashback bit out, and I'm just gonna move it along. All right, and let's carry on. All right, so Scarecrow gulped as the whip's eyes flitted between Gore and him before settling on him. The whip eyed him, but whether it was amusement, joy, or disappointment was intangible. The primate clicked over his shoulder before striding away. The key clicked over his shoulder before striding away. Four keys in gleaming metals and carrying shiny weapons. Four keys with gleaming metals and shiny boomerangs. And the shiny boomerangs I'm like, this isn't work. Oh my goodness. I was like, this should work. Four keys with gleaming metals and the shining. I just have to move this along. And I was like, I don't like this style right here that much. I feel like I'm being a little too wordy. I need to get to the next scene. What are you supposed to do? Unalliterated beaver hunt. They've damned the flow of words. Oh my goodness. Now my words ain't flowing right now. My words ain't flowing. Man, I don't know why I'm struggling with this paragraph. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can do it. All right, we're going to return this paragraph. All right, push through. We're just gonna make it. We're just gonna have to push through. 4 keys drop from the ceiling, in gleaming white metals and shiny boomerangs at their waists. They hooted at Scarecrow until he followed. They hooted at Scarecrow, pushing him. They hooted at Scarecrow, pushing him to follow the whip's procession. Scarecrow, he followed reluctantly. He followed reluctantly. Looking over his shoulder, the primates hooted at Gore. Looking over his shoulder, the keys hooted at Gore. He fought. Looking over his shoulder, the keys pushed Gore out of the cell until he followed along, until he trailed behind. Looking over his shoulder, the keys hooted at Gore, who set the badger on the ground and followed the procession. Looking over his shoulder, the keys hooted at Gore, who set the badger on the ground and followed after Scarecrow. After Scarecrow. Looking over his shoulder, the keys hooted at Gore, who set the badger on the ground. The badger scampered away, hiding between the porcupine and a squirrel whose eyes glowed like twin coals. The grizzly trailed after a Scarecrow. while the remaining keys the grizzly trailed after Scarecrow while the remaining keys pushed the rabbit along. Pushed along the rabbit, dazed and mumbling. All right. So 4 keys dropped from the ceiling in gleaming white metals, and the shiny metal and the shiny boomerangs at their waists. They hooted at Scarecrow, pushing him to follow the whip's procession. They hooted at Scarecrow, pushing him to follow after the whip. He followed, pushing him to follow after the whip. Looking over his shoulder, the keys hooted at Gore, who set the badger on the ground. The badger scampered away, hiding between the porcupine and a squirrel whose eyes glowed like twin coals. Gore trailed after Scarecrow, while the remaining keys pushed along Cotton Ball, dazed and mumbling. All right, we got past that bit. Scarecrow tried to evade eye contact with the rabbit as they zigzagged between battered cages and cells. Okay. Their procession zigzagged between battered cages and cells. King slithered along the wall, stopping short. King slithered along through the cells, following. King slithered through the cells. Their procession zigzagged between battered cages and prisoner filled cells. King slithered through King slithered against the wall, stopping short before a jaguar and hyena circling one another. Near the room's massive opening, a raccoon hung from the wall. Near the room's massive opening, a raccoon hung from a wooden pole. Hung from near the room's massive opening, a raccoon hung from a wooden from Near the room's massive opening, a raccoon hung from atop a cell, trembling beneath the red eyes of a salamander who perched atop their head. Near the room's massive opening, a raccoon hung from a cell, trembling beneath the red eyes of a salamander perched on its head. Perched atop its head. The passing keys hooted, causing them to crash to the ground, laughter ensuing. As they exited the room, Scarecrow glanced back at all the prisoners' eyes watching them, while the many yellow eyes of the keys flickered from the dark rafters above. All animals, no scarecrows anywhere. But was he truly the last one? Gore met his gaze and nodded reassuringly. He returned the nod with a forced smile and glanced warily at Conball, who was still out of it. What if As they exited the room, Scarecrow glanced back at all the prisoners' eyes watching them, while the many yellow eyes of the keys flickered from the dark rafters above. All animals, no scarecrows anywhere. Was he truly the last one? Gore met his gaze and nodded reassuringly. He returned the nod with a forced smile and glanced warily at Cotton Ball, who was still out of it. At Cotton Ball being being pushed along. He returned the nod with a forced smile and glanced warily at Cotton Ball, being dragged along. Did he know more of? Did he know? No. Did he know of more scarecrows? Did he know of more scarecrows out there? They passed down a massive stone hallway with a few lit sconces and dark rafters above. Oh man. All right. So this is just kind of like I'm just at like a transition. All right, and I'm pretty sure that was the first half of the chapter. Okay. Um All right. So I want to say that's I think I want to say that's the first half of the chapter. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the transition is oh man, they basically transition 2 rooms, 1, 2. So I'll probably be able to cut down on that transition that's coming up. And then we have the back end of the chapter where our antagonist is introduced. And our Tiger King is 4, 8, 9, 10. About 10 pages. Wow. All right. Man. Okay. Okay. So. All right. So I feel like I made some good progress. I technically got a couple pages, but I think those were some good pages that I went through. I think I'm gonna have to cut down on the transition that's in the next page or two, and so I can get to our Tiger King a little sooner. When I think about the pacing of the beginning of the chapter is actually pretty decent. Like I feel like enough things are happening. Um, yeah. But I can tell I've ran out of steam. I'm not making much more progress at this point. So I think that's all that I got for you today, my friends. That was wow, I went 2 hours. Sorry, I went 2 hours and I got through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many pages? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I did about 9 pages. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I did about 9 pages of revision. Um, okay. Yeah, I mean, the chapter definitely took a little longer than I would have hoped, but it's all good. It's all good. Oh man. Man, I'm so excited to get to the next chapter though. I mean, actually, the next part is actually pretty cool. The Tiger King's a cool character. I'm excited to get to the Colosseum battle because it's so cool. uh, I want to get to the Colosseum battle. Just the Colosseum chapter is so cool. All right, my friends, that's all that I got for you today. At the rate I'm going, Colosseum battle will probably be on Saturday. We'll probably be at that chapter by Saturday. Or the first Colosseum fight. All right, my friends. Thanks all for joining me for this late night writing sesh. Tap that like button if you got some value out of this. I appreciate you joining me. Little co-working, little bit of a vibe. But unfortunately, I will. Oh wait, I'll be back tomorrow in the mid afternoon. So, but that's all that I got for you. Unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I will catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. Thanks for joining me. Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write
Right
now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now. Is that right?